Hello and welcome back to another episode of Quick Spin, the Autoweek podcast that gets to the essence of the automobile. Today, we are talking about the 2021 Lexus LC500 Convertible. That's right, the drop-top version of the Lexus LC500. We're talking about that with the great Patrick Carone. You can take a look at this Lexus on our Instagram page right now. That's at Autoweek USA. And hey, while you're there, why don't you head over to our Facebook page and click that like button. That way you get all the great Autoweek content we deliver daily sent directly to you. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about this Lexus in just 1 second, but first we have to pay the bills. Want to go behind the scenes with the editors of Autoweek, Car and Driver, and Road and Track? Become a member of the Track Club and receive 6 supersized issues of the new Road and Track, plus access to digital content, dozens of partner privileges, exclusive invites to editorial events, and first dibs on insider automotive events both online and around the world. Hop on in by visiting roadandtrack.com/Autoweek. That's ROADANDTRACK.com/AUTOWEEK. And Patrick, tell me about this Lexus, an LC500 Convertible, I hear.
You hear correctly, Wesley. I loved my weekend in the Lexus LC500 Convertible. The thing is about this car, you have to kind of like take it for what it is. You might think of it as a certain thing, but it's not really that thing. But then the thing that it is a wonderful thing indeed. And I think that should be very clear for everyone listening to this podcast right now.
Can you just explain briefly what the LC500 is for those that somehow aren't familiar listening to this? I'm sure all of our listeners are familiar with the LC500, but in case there's a new listener who's not familiar, just break it down for them.
I mean, it's the super modern, sporty looking Lexus 2+2. I had the convertible. It's got that wonderful naturally aspirated Lexus V8 up front, 471 horses, rear wheel drive, absolute opulent luxury, and it's gorgeous. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I think that hits it. But also, Patrick, you took the time out of your busy day and gave us a quick little walk around of this bad boy, which we're going to hit right now. We're jumping into it early.
I am walking around the absolutely gorgeous Lexus LC500 Convertible. This thing is totally striking. It's just one of those cars, you're driving down the road, you're getting thumbs up, you're getting honks, people are asking you, what is that? Not subtle at all. This particular one is an interesting color. It's smoky granite mica. So it's this really kind of deep gray, deep dark gray that kind of looks green, kind of looks black from certain angles. So it doesn't scream in terms of the paint, but in terms of the design, yes, it does. Of course, it's got that iconic Lexus honeycomb grille up front, which I happen to like a lot, and I think it works great with a sports car like this. Maybe it looks a little bit weird on sedans. Thank goodness this particular one is registered in Texas, so it does not have the front license plate, because there's nothing worse than one of these that has an ugly license plate obscuring the grille. The lines are just beautiful. It's got, this one has the 21-inch forged alloy wheels, which is an extra. The lines, like I said, just gorgeous. It kind of looks like, I don't know, some sort of military aircraft where it has all of like the folds in the metal to keep it from showing up on radar or whatever. It's just really, really cool looking. The back is great. I love the tail lights, and I just think that I want to hop in and drive it. So why don't I do that?
And while I'm personally looking forward to you driving this bad boy, we have to touch on a few interesting things, maybe not so much interesting as just factual. Peeling back the curtain for me, when Lexus debuted the LFLC concept, I said, wow, that is a beautiful looking car, and unfortunately it will rot in concept car hell, and Lexus will do something, that doesn't resemble it. And then they released the LCLF as the LC500 basically unchanged.
Yeah, no, totally. This is one of those cars that looks like a rolling concept car. I know exactly what you mean. You see something at the auto show or wherever, and you're like, oh, this is beautiful. There is no way in hell this is ever actually going to look anything like this when it goes on the road. But not this one. It does. It really does look like it. It is it.
Yeah, it translates so well from from its concept car form to its production form, and I think that's a point of pride for the LC500. It is, like you said, a rolling concept car, but with a beautiful 5-liter V8 under the hood.
Yeah, no, exactly, and that's what kind of people have to realize about this vehicle. sort of what I was very articulately saying at the beginning is you might see a car like this and think to yourself, oh my God, this is going to be like, this is one of the fastest cars out there. This thing, 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. I bet, it's crazy on the skid pad and crazy on the track. But that's not really what this car is about at all. I think I get into this a little bit later when I'm driving in it. But the thing is, it's not like a crazy quick or crazy fast vehicle, but whatever speed you're going, you will have a smile on your face as you are going that speed.
Wait, Patrick, you actually drove this thing?
I did. Can you believe it? Lexus let me drive this thing around for a whole weekend.
Wow, that isn't great. Hey, wait a minute here. You sent me a recording of you driving it, and let's jump to that right now.
The sun is shining, the top is down, and I am cruising around the North Fork of Long Island in this awesome LC500 convertible. You hear the wind. Let's see if we could hear this naturally aspirated 5-liter V8. Oh man, does that sound nice. Now, the thing about this car is it is all about pure, old school driving pleasure. This isn't the fastest car on the road. 0 to 60, it's just a little bit less than 5 seconds, which is actually not that fast these days. 471 horsepower, not crazy, but it certainly goes fast enough, and it is just so much fun to drive. Look, it's probably not something you'd want to really take on the track, but for just, cruising down country roads, looking stylish down Main Street, this is exactly what you want to be in. I love it.
If there's a young person in your life who's really into cars, give them the gift of R&T Crew, the ultimate subscription box by Road and Track for kids ages 6 to 10 every other month. A box is delivered to their door and is stuffed with cool accessories, fun activities, and a magazine chock full of facts, stories, games, and more. Sign up now to receive the all-new Snack Attack box and enter code Autoweek for 10% off an annual box subscription. Just head to rtcrew.com, that's rtcrew.com, and use code Autoweek. You say a lot of really interesting things, right? And to no fault of the LC500's own. It's 0 to 60 time, 4.4 seconds. That's, about as quick as the new Ford Lightning pickup.
Right, exactly, yes.
And 407 horsepower is less than, the Mach 1 Mustang that is sitting in my driveway right now. So This is not exactly like a world-beating sports car, and I don't think Lexus was trying to do that.
No, that's the thing. It's not like they were trying to do something and they failed. They were trying to do something different from that, and they really succeeded. Like, I said it as I was driving in that recording we just listened to, but it is just such a pleasurable thing to cruise on down the road in. And, even listening to that fantastic engine, it's like you actually have a little bit of time to enjoy it. You're getting up to highway speeds, you push the pedal all the way down, and you're not suddenly going 120. Like, you have a couple seconds that you can enjoy the sound, you can enjoy the feeling of the acceleration, you can enjoy the exhilaration with the having the top down and doing all of these things. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't rush you. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, you get to experience the car without immediately being concerned about the status of your license. Like, if you get pulled over, get pulled over with reckless driving, just because I really want to hear this 5-liter V8 sing. And, I think that was a conscious decision by the folks at Toyota and Lexus, because they did make a supercar, the LFA, which is a world-beating supercar. That was an incredible piece of machinery. And this is just like a decision to make a car that you could actually enjoy driving without, the struggles of having a car with 700 or 800 horsepower. Totally.
And, what's interesting about it, too, is everything about it kind of goes along with that ethos, maybe you would say. It's a big and a heavy thing, right? It's about, I think, 4,500 pounds. Everything kind of feels large. It doesn't drive small. And even things when you're, parking and you're opening the doors seem really big. I kept on being scared that I was going to hit into something or a car was going to zip by and knock my door off. Like everything seems not in a bad way necessarily, but everything seems very like big and heavy and deliberate. You know, if that makes sense, but all kind of goes along with that sort of idea. Like you don't feel like you're in this little like, you know, lightweight pocket rocket zipping around. It doesn't give you that feeling at all. But, you know, like we said, that's not really what they were trying to do with this thing. I do wonder what they were thinking about the rear seats, because I can't imagine anyone or even an Ewok fitting back there. But it's good for throwing a duffel bag or something.
I think the rear seat is for insurance purposes and as a really low parcel shelf.
That makes a lot of sense.
But as things go with a Quick Spin, our listeners want to know, how much did this thing cost?
Oh yeah, I do know that. I have the old Monroney over here. So
you're thinking with a Lexus that looks this nice with a grille this big, $200,000, $300,000. To your point, I was very surprised. So this one, including all of the, as we know, we talk about this all the time. These cars that they let us drive, they always give them all of the options and all of the extras. This one, after everything, including delivery, whatever, $112,380. I was legitimately surprised when I saw that price tag. Taking the car journalist hat off, that is a lot of money. Putting the car journalist hat back on, that's not that much money.
Exactly. Very well said.
Like, if you're in the market for a car like this, that is not that expensive.
No, not at all. And you would never be in this thing. How can I put this? I mean, obviously that's extremely expensive for a car, but you never get the feeling at any moment that you're dealing with something cheap or not the highest quality when it comes to any of the components of this vehicle. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. But Patrick, it's getting to be about that time. The hardest part of the show, the part I know I have butterflies in my stomach about, and I'm sure you do as well. On a Quick Spin, we try to get to the essence of the automobile, and the LC500 Convertible is no exception. So Patrick, I have to ask, what is the essence of the LC500? What is its raison d'etre? What makes it special?
Well, Wesley, I think I might turn the tables a bit and ask you a question that's related to that, because I know that you are a lover of classic cars, of vintage cars. And to me, there's something about this Lexus's spirit that harkens back to a bygone era of motoring. And I'm curious if you agree with that.
I agree. Yeah, this has a lot of electric gizmos and a lot of technology, but it does feel old in a good way. It feels, you feel almost connected to the experience of driving the car.
Exactly. That's exactly what I got from this. And I think we've kind of been like dancing around this whole conversation. But yeah, just this idea that like, no, this is not it's not the speed champion, right? It's not the quickest thing around. But just while you're in it, you're so happy and you just feel so satisfied with what they have. Now, just because you mentioned the electronics, I feel like I would be remiss not to mention I hated the like little touchscreen mouse thing that you use for the nav system and the entertainment. Yeah, that was just like the one little thing as I was having so much fun in this that I did have a little problem with.
Patrick, thank you for driving this car. It's a hard job, but somebody has to do it.
My pleasure. It was really, really a pleasure to drive this one.
And I'm sure it was. But hey, it's also a pleasure if you go to the Apple Podcast Store or wherever you listen to this bad boy and click that 5-star review button. Give us a quick review. Let us know what you think about the show. Let us know what you want to hear about in the future. And hey, while you're cruising around on the internet, why don't you click over to our Facebook page, click that like button. That way you get all the great Autoweek content we deliver daily sent right to you. And I know I say this at every episode, and I mean it in every episode. Thank you so much for listening. Without your listenership, none of this would be possible.